Yeah, I got something really really challenging in my opinion, because I know your take uh, on various topics such as spirituality and self-development and growth and mindset and how to level up and everything. But one thing I I don't know what's your philosophy about. It's on cheating.
Mhm.
What basically, this would be my first question to you. What is your philosophy when it comes to cheating between
It
partners, not
it depends on,
cheating your own business?
yeah, with in romance. So that would depend on your beliefs. So it doesn't matter my beliefs, it matters what your beliefs are, because you're not going to live according to what I believe. You have to live according to what you believe. But the thing that you have to understand is that your beliefs need to empower you. So they need to make you feel good about yourself and the life you are living. So, with that said, if cheating is something that makes you feel less than and brings about suffering, and that you have talked about that with your partner and decided, both of you, that it was not to happen, that you both are in agreement, and then it does happen, then that's something for you that is something to navigate to find the solution. It may be getting back together and staying with that person rather and healing that relationship. It may be a separation, it may be a divorce, it may be some kind of option. But if on the other side of that coin, the flip side of the coin, if the belief is that it's okay because it's not cheating, it's expression of our individuality, that she can go off and do what she wants, I can go off and do what I want, but we're both in agreement of that, and we believe that that is the best thing for the relationship, then that is a belief that empowers you, and then you're going to navigate that. So it just depends on what you believe. And then from that, we can talk about like attachment to another person doing something you don't want them to do, or you doing something or having the inclination or cravings to do things that you know you shouldn't do, and then to monitor to kind of ascend and elevate down that path. So to answer your question, it doesn't matter what I believe, it matters what you believe. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about what's going on, and then where your heart is, where your mind is around this point.
Yeah, I was honestly, I was really curious about your perspective, your own.
Yeah.
So it's okay how you answered, because it's your own thought, your thought process. But I agree. I have to agree with it, because, as you said, if it's in agreement, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. So how how do I put it?
Do this for me real quick before you start, okay?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath through your nose and then go deeper and just let yourself kind of melt into your chair a little bit, okay? Because I can tell that it's challenging, and I need you to focus that everything is going to be okay, and that you are now with a brother in arms, and we're going to navigate this together to help you with clarity and confidence. So, whatever you
All right.
share, just try to be authentic and genuine, but everything's going to be okay. Just let it all go and speak your undiluted truth, just your heartful truth. Okay? So take one more deep breath and then. Nice.
Right. So I'm really proud of my wife, because I what can you find right now in the whole world is like, if now I was single and I didn't have a family, and I have a wife and two healthy boys. If I didn't have a wife and I did, as I said, maybe I was single, I don't think I gave myself a lot of chances to find someone, just because how uh, the relationship and the marriage is seen nowadays, and to me, like, marriage is sacred. So the next point I would make is that I never believed that my wife would try to cheat on me. I had like complete 100% trust. I
Hmm.
More trust than I had even into my parents.
Hmm.
So it wasn't, if some dudes came to me, if some friends, if some family, my parents, whatever the uh, relatives I had, they were coming to me and saying your wife is cheating. I was saying no, it's not possible.
Hmm.
I just purely, I cannot believe it. This is the amount of trust I had in my wife. So what happened is that there are, in my opinion, there are two types of cheating. One, it's physical, and one, it's like emotional, or
Hmm.
like your partner really feels something for that other person, whether it's a guy or a woman. So I have to clarify that it isn't anything physical,
Hmm.
because I it's pretty obvious to this point that I caught my wife speaking with some other guy, but that other guy is in another country. So oh, what a relief.
It's
But
crazy how the mind finds like, oh, that's a big win for me. He's in another country, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you're like, yeah,
So
well, uh,
the thing is that although he's in another country, they know each other like way before I knew her. She says, and I had some people confirm me this thing, that they weren't even together or something. And the thing is that, first of all, I caught her speaking with this guy, and she wasn't. I mean, I never said anything to her like she was speaking to guys, like, but that amount of trust you cannot demolish. I mean, she was speaking with her colleagues,
sure,
men, other friends, everybody. But that amount of trust I had in her wasn't easy to demolish. But as I said, I caught her. She was speaking with this guy, and I say I caught because she was hiding her messages.
yeah,
So this is, some people may argue that this isn't cheating. This is just playing around. I I I might be a hypocrite, but this might be my alter ego saying that I don't have a problem with physical cheating. I do have a problem with the other type, but I might be wrong. The thing is that I feel betrayed.
yeah.
This is the thing. So I feel betrayed and disrespected. Betrayed because she was speaking with this guy for months, and betrayed because I told her, if you want to save your marriage, if you want for your kids to have a dad around and alive, if you want to save all this, you have to stop. You have to stop, and just, you have to work again to earn my trust.
Yeah.
She said okay. Everything was like
How
uh,
long ago did that happen, that conversation?
August 2023.
Okay. And then she had been carrying on with him for months before that, and I assume
Yeah,
like via like Facebook Messenger or some kind of like chatting
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp or something.
WhatsApp, Instagram.
And
Yeah,
then just to clarify, she was hiding, in a sense, the messages from you
Exactly.
by changing the name, or how did you
De-
discover?
deleting the messages. I discovered this. Let me remember. I think on WhatsApp, she was so careless. She began to be so careless that she didn't even uh, try to delete the messages. She was just archiving them, like swipe left
Yeah, yeah,
and it's archive. And you can see if you take somebody's phone, somebody's WhatsApp, you can see archives, how many chats you have archived. And that's when I first saw. I had a discussion with her. Everything was, as I said, fine. But this is where I felt uh, betrayed.
yeah,
And the thing is, I said, I also feel disrespected because the second thing, well, the whole thing that bothers me is that I I caught her multiple times after, and this to me isn't about betrayal anymore. It's about respect. It's about her disrespecting me because
yeah,
come on, girl, I told you once, I told you twice. He's the third time. He's the fourth time. I would even, and I'm not. Trust me, I am not that. I'm really well calculated when in relationship dynamics. In my opinion, I do not hurry up to
make
spear
decisions
out my
rash.
anger and exactly. I'm trying to stay calm and figure out like everything. But then this happened multiple times after August 2023, and the last time I think maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. And it was something like trying to search something on her phone, and something popped up, and it was that guy. I even talked to that guy. I said, "Come on, man, she's married." No, we don't have anything. She is kind of crazy. Okay, block her. Stop talking to her because your presence might ruin a marriage. I was really respectful because
Yeah,
I don't believe it's his fault, But I kind of know now how to deal. Maybe you can enlighten me how to deal with betrayal. It's just a matter of perspective and how do I feel, how the emotions, how do I manage them and everything. But I think I have I think I have a bigger problem with the disrespect. Like I tell you to do this, you don't do it. I tell you to don't do that, you keep continuing doing that.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I told her this was the last time, and from now on, in my opinion, you're just the mother of my kids. You're not my wife anymore. And I uh, I was telling you about emotions and everything. She cares. We both have our parents alive, and I told her, look, I'm gonna tell your dad. I'm gonna tell your mother. This is something to be told, you know. And this is scaring her more than anything. But I couldn't do it. Not that I couldn't do it. I didn't do it because
You didn't do it, yeah.
I care. I care about her parents, and not because what her parents would think about. I care more of how this would make them feel, like they're old, uh, they're partially sick, and so on. I don't want to cause any extra problems to their health, And Yeah, this is kind of it. The whole story, as short as I could.
Yeah, man. You're a good guy, man. It's very tough, but we're going to discuss a lot about what it means to set a boundary, to hold the boundary, and then also what is your ultimate goal? Like, do you, in your heart of hearts, do you see yourself with your wife 5, 10, 20 years from now? Do you want that family? Do you want to fight for that? Or do you want to fight for a different reality? So it all depends. I've had this discussion with multiple clients before, and they're like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "You have to check inside yourself and ask, what do you want?" So what you want will determine what you do. But you are dealing with this pull. There's gravities here. There's the whole entire family, the kids. You have the two boys, you have the wife, you have the home together. You've created this reality that it's like perfect. And there's a fear of losing that. That is why you didn't set firmer boundaries when you first caught her, and then caught her again the second time, and then the third time, and the fourth time, because the importance of what you've placed in your mind and your heart of your family, you feel that you don't want to lose that, and you feel that if you punish her, or leave, or do something to that effect, you're going to jeopardize your entire heart, your entire
Exactly.
priority. And so you're willing to allow the disrespect to happen again and again and again. But now you're coming to the point where it's deteriorating away from the family, away from that perfect image. And now I need to take an action to make this the best it can be, and then also to elevate my own self-respect and what I receive from the wife. So you're in this pull now, and it's getting worse. And that's why you had that conversation. And you know that telling the parents would be almost like fruitless, because it's just going to cause more harm than the good it's going to do, because you guys are already in this space. And so you're not trying to be erratic in your behavior and punish her in a sense. You're trying to stabilize what you have, and then look down the road to kind of say, what can I do to preserve what I have, and then to also improve how I'm being treated. So there's a lot going on in both of those spaces. But say for you step away from all this right now, what do you ultimately want? Do you want to be with her, or do you see yourself more transitioning where you have a healthier relationship with, possibly on your own, single, or with another woman down the line? Like right out of the gates, what's your answer now?
I see myself with her.
Okay.
And
So then that is the line we take. The other stuff is now, it's kind of like, cool, we don't have to even think about it, because it creates conflict and confusion, because the mind will always project, life would be better if you left. Life would be better if you separated. But that's like, driving on a road trip somewhere in a destination. When you pick the destination, you know where you're going. But if you go, well, what life would be better if you went this way or that way or that way, it creates a lot of confusion, and that clarity deteriorates away from the quality of your life, the lack of clarity, rather. So if that's what you want, that's what we're going to work towards. Okay. And that's what you want. And it doesn't matter about who else out there listening or watching, what they want, what they would do. We don't really care, because this is your very intimate movie, and you are the main actor in this role. So you're trying to script out what you want. So the first thing to do is probably repair, to set the healthy boundaries, but to repair. So it's probably awkward in the house. I would imagine there's that lack of communication, the energy, the love, the kids are sensing it. And you also have to like try to elevate and pretend and put a smile on your face, act like everything's normal in front of the boys. You have two boys that are 5 and 7, was it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
So you're,
understand and listen to everything.
yep. And they feel energy like crazy, and they can pick up on all this stuff. And so preparing is the number one thing, repairing. But your wife is going to this guy, having this conversation for a reason, because there's a void or a lack in what she's receiving with you or in other realms of life. Okay. So I know that's a little bit hard to hear, but one person is not going to fulfill another person's entire needs. That person has to be their own source of fulfillment. Everybody has to be their own source of fulfillment. And then whatever we get from other people is gravy. But we have to have that own respect and love and confidence and pride within ourselves. It's not easy. I'm not saying that. But ultimately, that is our eternal source of freeing ourselves from suffering in a sense. So I, one, would want to know, what is she getting from those? That's what I want to speak with her about, is what do you get from those conversations that we don't have here? Okay, because one, we're discovering, what is she getting? So I'm going to kind of break it down into two sectors, your wife and then you. Okay, so that you can be better equipped to have that conversation with her while at the same time kind of navigating your own plight and mastering your mind and making sure you feel confident throughout this entire process. So the one is to discuss, what are you getting from those conversations? Having that open conversation with her. Like, let's not talk about me catching you and then you doing it again and again. You're obviously doing it for a reason. What is the reason? What are you getting from those experiences that you're not getting here? And then show me examples. Tell me, okay? Because there's obviously something there, because she's going to that. It may just be the excitement of secrecy. It may not even be this guy. It may just be that this is an outlet for her life to experience some kind of excitement, like she sees in all the shows that she watches. But she's got two boys and taking care of a household, and every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looks exactly the same. So it may not be emotional. It may just be that it's a thrill, that she feels alive when she receives it. There could be a whole bunch of different reasons why she's doing that. So getting to the point of that first will then help you to be like, can we recreate this in a different way within our relationship, within our life? Maybe the excitement is spontaneous trips or zip lining, who knows, and problem solved. Maybe it is more intimacy. Maybe it's deeper spiritual talks. Maybe it's erotic stuff. Maybe it's just hand holding and eye contact. Maybe it's love in a different kind of form. But first things first is we have to find out that. And two, you setting boundaries. Having these discussions with her is going to be challenging, but you're going to go into it. I could tell you're very level-headed, very particular with your words, and you're compassionate and kind of like slow without blowing up. So you're already well ahead, because a lot of these situations, I would tell you, no screaming and yelling, no saying hurtful things, and no bringing up the past in order to hurt somebody, because we're worried, we're focused about rather improving the now and then into the future. But it seems like from your angle anyway, those three things won't be an issue, but still establish that as parameters for the discussion to have with your wife. And then we'll talk about what the discussion would look like, and then your own mind as well. So for you, some of this stuff it's hard, because we're finding a flaw in our own belief system and our own self-value, is that a man who may have prioritized respect over his family would have cut her off after the first or second time discovering it. So you allowed the respect and the betrayal to continue, because I'm picking up from you and from previous sessions that you value extremely so that family unit, the boys, the wife, the kind of happily ever after, the house that you have, the business that you
One.
created. So you feel that I can take a hit over here in the respect a couple times in order to maintain this, but it's a limiting belief. It's saying, I can't have both. I have to jeopardize my respect that I'm receiving or the disrespect. I have to basically navigate that and get that in order to maintain a healthy household. Do you see? It's like I have to make that choice. And now, after a few times of it happening, you're like, I don't think I can continue doing that anymore because this is getting so much louder, this disrespect and this betrayal. So for you is to clearly define what it looks like to be in a relationship with your wife. You have to establish that boundary as if you are creating floor plans for a house that's being built. There's no like, yeah, maybe we'll put a wall there. Maybe we'll have 4 bedrooms. The guy's like, what do you mean? Maybe. No, we need to know exactly what you want. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how big, square footage, garage, flooring, roof, every detail. So that's what I would ask of you is to write out what the relationship looks like. And since you said you want to be with her, we are not discussing anything outside of that reality. It makes it easier. And so there may be things that are missing from your perspective. You're not jumping on WhatsApp and chatting with a girl, but you may be getting some kind of fulfillment from your other endeavors, from work, other stuff that she's not getting. And there may be some fulfillment that you're not getting that you'd like to get from her. Okay. So you have to describe in specifics what is kind of ideal or perfect within what you desire, which is in your heart. So that would be your first homework assignment, is to write out and tell me what that looks like. And I could probably guess it looks like what it's looked like for the past 7 years, but without her jumping on WhatsApp is probably what I'd say, right?
Something like that, yeah.
There may be a few recalibrations in certain areas, but what I'm saying is that you're 95% home.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the
95%,
5%,
yeah,
yeah.
this don't matter. Yeah.
So to fight for what you want, but you can have it both. We have to see, one, can we meet her where she needs to be met? She may say, I talked to him because I'm in love with him. I know that's hard to hear. It may not be the truth at all, but that's something that we can't navigate. We can't kind of resolve that by being you, right? But there could be 30,000 other reasons she talks to him that we can be the solution for, or rather create the solution for, depending on her feedback of why she speaks to him. So we have to, one, see, is this even a possibility? Because you could want to be with her, but if she's in love with that guy, then that's very much going to change your trajectory into a different reality, right? Because that we don't want to fight. And that's where I would lead you to being like, even though you want to be with her, but if she's in love with another man, we're going to have to start healing and then taking another path to elevating your life into a different space. So it's not that we're giving her the power. We're finding out, can I be part of her journey, or is it completely like she just wants to be with this other guy? Who knows?
Exactly. In my opinion, and I won't say 100% because I trusted her like 100%, but 99%, I don't believe she is loving him.
Yeah.
The reasons, it's pretty interesting. I think the very first reason you mentioned why she might talk to this guy,
the thrill of excitement.
Exactly. Like for fun.
Yep.
This is what she's saying also, like there isn't anything, but then I come up and ask, but if not, why do you hide? She says that it isn't anything, and she might be thrilled of holding a secret. She might be thrilled of like feeling young and doing something foolish, she might do this also
And being chased.
from a sense of maybe frustration because
Hmm.
she's getting older, maybe something to prove herself something that. And I don't know, the discussions uh maybe this is a clue for you, and maybe you will help me understand. I with along these messages with this guy, I also saw some messages with her friend, and she was talking about this guy. They both know that guy, but
Yeah.
very briefly they talked about him. And she my wife was saying that no, this guy is completely he's after me. I don't have time for him. She was like uh, feeling herself, with
Hmm.
pride. But
Hmm.
that wasn't the case because the conversation with the guy was the exact opposite. She was chasing him, and he was replying like, "Okay, all right, bye,
Yeah,
good
yeah. One
morning."
word. I was going to ask
Yes.
what is the nature of the conversation, but so that would show me then that one, she's feeling not so special. Okay, she's got a very big lack of security within herself, and that these little thrills are giving her a big jolt and boost. And even more so because she's chasing this guy, knowing what she's jeopardizing with you and her family, and then telling a friend that it's the other way around. So
Mm-hmm.
she's using that experience with the guy to get this sense of importance, but then with a friend who knows them both, she's also getting a jolt of importance because she's misrepresenting the actual events. And we don't know if she's misrepresenting it with intention, like if she's doing it intentionally, or if she actually has this narrative that she's being chased
Mm-hmm.
and that this is his way of chasing her, of not really chasing her, right? Because we don't know, it's all based on perspective. So we could have the facts, but that doesn't mean we know how the person's actually perceiving their reality based on their mindset and everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
So to find out, to have that conversation with her, and then also bring this up is to be like, do you believe that you are being chased by him? Do you believe that you're being, courted almost from this guy? And is it just the excitement of the secrecy? Like, could this guy be any guy? Or is it this guy? And from what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It could be any guy, right?
Yeah.
So to one, have that conversation. And then two is that she has to, you're setting a boundary that, like, one, what do you want? She wants to be with you, right? Because she knows if she's not with you, there's a lot that's being jeopardized, including having to tell her parents that her betrayal caused the end of your relationship, which you said really incites her to worry and be concerned about
Mm-hmm.
this. But to have that conversation and to find out, one, the facts with why she's doing it, and then from there you can better understand, now can I be part of the solution or help create the solution to fill the void that's missing in her life. It may be, it may be therapy, it may be working with a mindset life coach, it may be traveling more, it may be doing more exciting things, it may be date nights, it may be even role playing where you show up at a restaurant and pick her up like she's a stranger. I know it sounds weird, but like if that is something that is sexy that can could give something to somebody, then, and you're comfortable being that 50% of that, there's solution there. Okay, but we're talking a lot about, preparing and trying to repair this stuff. and we can have more detailed conversations on what that actual conversation will look like, the best way to kind of extend the invitation, to set the scene, the tone, how to have the conversation, and then how to move forward after that, if you'd like. But
Let's say,
I'd like to
let's say,
focus,
on
yeah,
what?
go on you, on what's going
Oh,
on inside your mind a little bit first,
all right.
to kind of come to the clearest,
I,
most confident, stable space.
I'm at a point like I it's something I usually tend to form strong opinions of certain things because I don't focus on politics. I don't focus on
Hmm.
on climate change, on uh, the economy, and over the city, over the infrastructure, over because on those things I don't possess any control. So that's why I want to focus all my attention, all my all my brain power, my spiritual power on everything that is near me right now, right at the moment, and I can control. And the first thing, the most important is me. So
Hmm.
this is my belief. I have to know myself and to control myself in certain directions. So for me, self-development was pretty important, and it is. If it wasn't, maybe right now we were like breaking up, divorcing. But I think this really helped me to get to this point, like to carefully assess what should I do. And
Hmm.
it's one of the first times in my life when I feel kind of clueless,
Hmm.
because I understood everything that you told me. I and you are right, like 99% of everything that you said, with how she might feel, how am I feeling, the dynamics and everything. But I, in order to solve this situation, okay, I said I won't focus on her. I will focus on me, because if she did this, maybe it's a problem on me. And this is what I'm dealing with right now, because I'm and before I say this, I really want to underline the fact that I'm really, really an objective person. I have the capability to be as objective as you can be. Like the
Hmm.
sky is blue, like the I am human and whatever. So I think in my opinion, I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I in terms of intimate life, I we do not have any problem. In terms of uh, me respecting her, I don't think we have any problem. In me loving her previously, before this happened, I think
Yeah,
it wasn't any problem. uh, I was like congratulating her on every, I mean, and I
lifting her
told
up,
her
supporting her, like loving
exactly
her.
everything. I told her, not daily, but almost every day we were having discussions about the woman, the man, nowadays, the relationship and everything. And I was telling her, I if I didn't found you, I don't know what would I've done. So I was constantly reminding her how important she is in my life. I mean,
Yep.
so all these small things, they did add up, and I think in my supposition, it should have been enough.
Yep.
And it's really hard for me to find that gap and to feel it. You know,
Hmm.
this is what I'm struggling with right now because
So this is perfect, and it's beautiful that you've discovered this, but it's actually the number one cause for all separation and all struggle. It's a lack of communication. Your wife is missing something and you don't know what it is. So how can you ever give her enough compliments, support, do all this when that's just not what they eat? Imagine taking your wife to a buffet and they have 100 dishes there, right? And you go, listen, I arranged this buffet for you, okay? It's got all different ethnicities, culinary delights from all different ethnicities from around the world. And so she goes around and she's eating, right? And you're like, yes, I did this. She's eating. She's eating that. She's eating this. She's eating this, eating this. She's going around and for day after day, she's eating. You think everything's fine. But then you ask her, do you like the food? She's like, yeah, yeah, I like the food. And then you find out that she's sneaking in sweets to the buffet because the one thing that she wants is not there. But she never told you that. You could have had the kitchen create that, but she never expressed it to you. You didn't have that communication. So there's a great book on relationships called The Five Love Languages that people like to be loved a certain way and they like to receive love a certain way. There's usually like two from what the author says. There's the gift giving, compliments, uh, acts of appreciation. There's quality time and gifts, I think. So, or physical touch is the last one, like not just sexual, but like, rubbing, touching, playing with the ear, rubbing your fingers. That's one of mine. But that we think because the way that I like to be loved is the way I show my love sometimes. And sometimes for another person, they like to be loved a different way. So you're supportive and you're encouraging, and you probably tell her she's beautiful and you give her gifts and everything. But what she wants is the excitement. She wants to feel like she's a queen, like she's the only one in existence that this, and then you have two boys and you have your job, and these things get like they dwindle after the dating and everything, and it's like, hey, how are you, wife? Good. How are you, husband? Good. We'll see you later, right? And you pass each other in the hallway because one's chasing the kids, the other's got to get to work, or vice versa. And so that stuff loses importance, but it doesn't lose importance for them, and it doesn't lose importance for you to feel manly and to feel respected. And you just took a very major hit because you're probably the provider, from what I understand of your situation. You bought the house, you take care of the kids. There's nothing that she goes for, that she's in want for. You're buying the food, you're doing all this. And so, as that provider, we're not saying that's better or worse than being the mom, or more significant or less significant, but we're just saying we're creating exactly your perspective. I give, 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 and provide, and then I get disrespected. And so it's not only her talking on the WhatsApp, it's her saying everything else I do is shit. And that's where it really, really
it's
hurts, because it's like, holy cow, I'm working so hard and I'm providing and I'm spending time with kids. I'm not like my dad or my grandpa, where they go to work and they come home after 10 hours and they don't even see their children. I'm putting the kids to bed. I'm spending weekends. I'm a modern day man. I'm a Renaissance man. And so I give and give and give and give. But we think that we're giving for them. And that's where we're mistaken. We're giving for us without attachment. And that's where it gets hard, because the mind goes, look at all you do. Look at all you do for her. Look at all you give. So the mind starts talking, that little ego, the lower mind starts chatting and bullet pointing all the things you do for her in order to compound your suffering from being betrayed. But that doesn't help you, right? That's just shoving your face in some reality that's not true. You do all that stuff for you. She's just a part of the recipe. But a lot of guys, we put the pressure on ourselves to provide and do all this stuff because we feel that it's our duty and it's our job, and that we're the providers and that we have to do it for them. And that then we waste away, we deteriorate, we basically lose ourselves because we keep thinking we're doing everything for them. And then we start creating animosity and resentment and judgment when she's not this and she's not that. And then we're getting stressed and pressure and anxious, and the priority is always work and provide and work and provide. And then she is over on the sidelines, not getting exactly what she needs. And then she jumps on WhatsApp and talks to her old school buddy, right? So the things is to realize that everything you're doing, don't tell yourself you're doing it for her, because that's just going to make you frustrated, and it's going to make you feel like there's a bigger disrespect. And that's what's happening right now, is that I guarantee you're going through your life and you're like, look at all I give her. And you're starting to think of new things that you weren't even thinking about before. Oh, remember when I did this? I lent her brother money. Remember, like little things are coming up that you did in the past, that now you're qualifying of how great you are and how great you've been to her. And all that does is make you, you just feel like this wolf is coming out of you, like the growling, because you're getting yourself pent up. So realize that the mind is trying to protect you from suffering. So it's positioning you in a place where it's creating you to be like Christ, like this perfect savior. Like you've done everything correctly for them. And it's not true. You've done it for yourself. And so when it starts to stack evidence, is what I call, this is what I do, this is what I do, and this is what I give, and this is where I show up, and this is where she falls short, and this is where she falls short, and she did this and this and this. All that is your mind has you distracted from the present moment. And it's creating these delusions to steal away the peace, the presence from the now. Because in the present moment is your liberation, it's your salvation, and that's where you're going to find solution. That's where you're going to create solution on how to navigate right now. So if we look at it and we stop doing all that, then you can ask yourself, how can I possibly be even more? Because you're into self-development, you're into being more, that spiritual component, being more for myself and possibly being more for her too. But I have to know how she likes to be loved and how she likes to express her love, because something's missing. We know that because of WhatsApp. And then for you too, how do I like to be loved? And how do I like to express my love? So Susie, my fiance, she doesn't love the same way I love, and vice versa. So I have to be creative to be loving the way that she is receptive. Okay, so the way I break it down to is it's called love languages, because if you think about a language, if I need to tell you that you mean a lot to me, and you only speak Romanian and I only speak Portuguese, we're going to have some trouble there. We have to create a language where both of us are able to transfer that information, and it's based on communication. It's the very first thing. It's the thing that with all of my clients, there's an immediate breakdown in communication, and then attachment starts building. Attachment as in unmet expectations. We expect certain things of our partner, and then they don't come through, and we're like, what the fuck? Where were you on that? I expected you to do this, 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 that, and the other. But we never told them that's what we wanted. How are they supposed to know? She never told you what she wanted. But if she did, you probably would have delivered, if it's something that you're able to deliver, right? So you're seeing we're getting a lot
Yeah.
here, but you see how your mind it's taking you out of the light and into the darkness by stacking evidence. So the way to do that, to get rid of out of that prison, and am I right? Is that what it's doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what you're going to do is in this moment now, when it starts happening and you're doing the dishes and you're just kind of growling and thinking about what you do, you have to catch yourself. So first step is observation. Okay. So realize Well, how do I know where to catch myself when you drop below your line of peace? We've discussed this. You've seen this in my videos and everything too. That line of peace is where you want to be, especially as a man. You just want to, men just want to be peaceful, right? So you're seeing that there's this line of peace. And then above that line is joy and pleasure and delight and excitement and love and happiness. Below it is betrayal, is being disrespected, is abuse, it's grief, it's anger, it's frustration, it's anxiety, it's stress, it's everything that falls below the pressure to provide. So when we dip below that line of peace, I guarantee our mind has us distracted. Because in the current moment, unless somebody's knocking down your door and stealing your children, which doesn't happen very often, you're probably doing okay. You have food in your fridge, you have a roof over your head, you have water, you have air, and you can come to presence and be like, I actually have a lot. But your mind is going to want you to see what you don't have. And then you're going to suffer from that. And that's what Buddha talked about as attachment, the root of suffering. So when you observe, you're doing dishes and you start having that inner monologue of, here's what I do, how could she do this, that, and the other, you catch yourself, then reward yourself too. Good job, Ovi, for catching yourself. Now come back to peace and presence. Take a deep breath here. You take a deep breath and then you use your senses to take an inventory of the current moment. What are you seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, hearing? We're basically trying to crash the brain. This is like cognitive behavioral therapy. We're trying to take the brain away from this thought, this stacking of evidence into the present moment. So we have to crash that website with a lot of visitors. The visitors are what we're taking in with our senses. So deep breaths with the diaphragm there, 10 deep breaths. And what are you seeing? What are you tasting, if anything? What do you smell? The hearing the children out playing outside, the distant murmur of traffic. And what are you seeing? Just go in depth. And then you're finding, well, the attachment, that thought is, it makes you feel bad. So you're going to want to switch to the present moment and say, okay, we know all this. I don't have to paint her into a villain, and I don't have to paint myself into a hero, because that's just the ego trying to make me feel either worse or better about it. In either way, it ends up being worse because it's building insecurity. So I'm actually just okay being honest with myself that I did the best I could with what I knew, but now I need more information to find better solution moving forward. So now how can I challenge myself to do that through compassion, through patience, through love, through that higher elevated perspective? And you're giving the mind, is this helping me find solution right now? Because right now you're just rubbing my head into it. So the step 4 is saying to the mind, we don't need to do this. I don't need to sit here and drum up all these thoughts because it's not helping me find solution. What is the solution to those? And then project in your mind a positive outcome. So you'll sit there and be like, no matter what, my children will be safe and happy. My wife will be safe and happy. I will be safe and happy. And you actually see yourself together. One, it helps with the mind because you're replacing it with this like nice dose of medicine. And two, it actually helps that future projection come to fruition. We're actually kind of attracting that with the consciousness. Our consciousness has the power to create, to influence reality. So that will at least give you a stable, centered mindset to then enter into finding solution, creating solution with your wife. And if you just found out, we don't know that this is the case, but say she's like, I'm in love with this guy. And it's a hard stop. That projection wasn't wrong because you're still going to see her happy in some other reality. Your kids are still going to be happy and safe. You're still going to be happy and safe. Okay. But we're just projecting everybody to be fulfilled. But from what you've said, she doesn't want to be with him. So it's good to project you guys being together as a family. out in Legoland visiting me in Carlsbad a year from now, and
Yeah.
the kids are running around and she's very happy because you guys have created the solution that was missing there, and now she respects you 10 times what she did before because you gave her the thing that was missing, even beyond all the support and the roof over the head and the love and everything, because you were able to do that and step up. Not as if you weren't before, in a sense that now you know and you were happy to deliver, but you could co-create that possibility where both people are feeling the love authentically for what they need and the language they speak. So moving forward, train your mind to stay to the presence, find solution. When you find it taking you off that path, center back in on the present moment, and then start preparing. What do I see for my future? You're going to script that out. What is ideal? We're not talking about 10 years from now. We're talking about 3 months from now for this particular situation. Okay. If you wanted to start a business and you never knew anything about it, then we project further out because we understand that things take time. You already have everything you need. So we're not looking for 5 years from now, that 5 year goal. We're looking for a 3 month goal. Okay. That's 12 weeks. That's a good amount of time to work towards that solution. 6 months. And then having the conversation with her. It's an invitation. Listen, we know that you and I we have to heal. We have to work on some stuff here. So can you meet with me after the boys are put to sleep on Wednesday night, whatever night you pick? Give her time to prepare, but then tell her, this is what I want to talk about. So you have to start thinking about this to prepare as well, because we can't just blindside her and be like, you got to answer on the spot. What do you need, right?
Exactly.
You've
Yeah.
got the time to prepare. So now we need to give that. It's like a meeting, like, hey, I'm going to have a business meeting with you. This is what we're going to talk about. So be prepared. It's a proposal almost.
Yeah.
What is it that you were getting from those conversations? Not from that guy, from that experience. Everything is an experience. Okay. So we don't even want to trap her and be like, what were you getting from him that you weren't getting from me? No. What were
Mhm.
you receiving from that experience? Because we're not framing it in a way where we're trying to misguide her. We're
Where
leaving
where
her
she,
open to interpret it.
where she responds, "I wasn't looking for anything." If she
Then,
responds that way, it means that I haven't asked the question in the right way, probably.
or she hasn't had enough time to actually like really
Think.
take a deep dive into her own reasoning,
Exactly.
right? And you're going to give her, be like, so the way that you could present it is like, that's what I'm going to want to know. And if it helps, you know, I told you how important it was for you to stop that and you didn't listen. And you know that not listening, we were jeopardizing our entire family dynamics and structure. So you were obviously getting something from there that you were willing to compromise our family for. Okay. And now, with the possibility of me having to eventually, if we do separate, talk to your parents, there's a lot now that's at stake. So what was it that you were getting from that? How did it make you feel? Did it make you feel special? Was it exciting? Was it a thrill to keep it from me? Was the
Should
thrill
I
in the secret?
should I tell her the questions before?
Yeah, yeah. Got to give
All
her
right,
time to prepare.
to
It just
prepare.
it helps because we're not trying to win.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
absolutely.
that thing where it's not me versus you. It's us versus the problem. So you need to be as well equipped and armed as I am so that we can pinpoint the exact problem. And there's that term, it's easier, you can't see the forest through the trees. She might not have the perspective,
Hmm.
but when you talk to her or bring in a professional, they may be able to find out very quickly, well, it was just the excitement. You're she'll talk about her day and working 12 hours with the kids and it's nonstop and everything, and then one misses the nap and this one's and then this, and then it was just her little escape. It was her movie, her show that she likes to watch, but it was her own. It was her thing, and she felt like she was the main star, right?
Mhm.
So she may not be able to recognize that, but you possibly can help her, or a professional can step in and help her. But there was a reason. So you're going to say, kind of explaining this to her, this is what I want you to think about leading up to our conversation. We're not even having the conversation now, but these are things that you need to consider. And I'm going to be sharing about what I felt I was doing, and how I want to be loved. And I want to know how you want to be loved and how you like expressing your love. So Google the 5 love languages. They're a good place to start. Again, I could share them with you, but just so you get a better understanding, it's like acts of service, gifts, compliments or words of affirmation, physical touch, and quality time, I believe, are the 5. So talk to her and say, think about these and ask yourself, how do you like to be loved, and express your love. Because in this little recipe, you're feeling a void there. And I'm feeling a void because I want to feel like I'm your king. That, me providing all this stuff, that you see it. And I know that you've expressed gratitude for it before, but if something like this happens, all that gets tarnished, right? Because it takes away all of that. And so I want you to know I'm going to be sharing how I want to be loved and how I want to show my love. And then we will create compromise. We'll find solution for both of us. And in this conversation, there cannot be any yelling or screaming. We can't say anything hurtful. If we feel that we're getting real worked up and pent up during the conversation, we can take a break and walk away for 5 to 10 minutes. And then once we've stabilized, we can come back. If we're unable to stabilize, we'll have to have that meeting another time. Either person can declare a break at any time if they're feeling that they themselves are not confident moving forward with the conversation, or they're getting too worked up, or the other person is getting too worked up and it's making them feel uncomfortable. So comfortability is the number one priority. And then
So
basically there's a
take
pause
a
button.
break.
Yep. 5, 10 minutes, and then you text.
Exactly.
Are you feeling comfortable? Can we start again? So
Yeah.
set a timer for 10 minutes. During the 10 minutes, breathe. I can give you a bunch of like stress release things and everything, but like basically people just want to center in
Yeah.
and then come back together. And then once you have that information of what possibly something will happen, I don't want to spend too much time saying this is what to do after, because I think it's going to be very reliant on what she shares. And then we can kind of have a secondary meeting, to discuss that. But then we will know, can you be part of the solution? Can you help co-create part of the solution for her and you simultaneously?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, dude, you're doing phenomenal. This is really, really hard stuff. And you've got your boys, you've got your whole world there. Like your movie is the only one that exists. Like that's what's real, the day to day. And all of that, it's not in jeopardy. Don't let your mind believe that, because there are alternate different realities that can extend from this space, and you will be fulfilled in all of them. The circumstance will be very different. It doesn't matter. You will be supremely fulfilled. And that's what you're going to stake your claim on. No matter what, I'm going to navigate this process loving myself, heightening and strengthening my confidence, my pride, my self esteem, my self worth, my self love, my compassion for her. And I'm going to walk that path day by day and let it unfold. But no matter what, I'm leading to the summit of fulfillment and peace. Nothing is in jeopardy here. Nothing. There are boys that are extremely well behaved and smart and beautiful who come from divorces or from families that are together. There are kids and people that are screwed up from people who've been together for 30 years and people who got divorced after 7, right? It doesn't
That's
matter.
correct. Yeah.
You're the creator here and you're going to that space. So that is where you're telling your mind when it tries to bring you into the darkness. This is this stacking evidence and what's at jeopardy, what you're going to lose, and you feel all the stress. Oh, I might have to get 2 houses, this, that, and the other. get away from all of that and center back in and be like, I'm fulfilled now. Look at what I have. Feel blessed for that, and know that that fulfillment will continue on. It may help, lastly, to journal a little bit out, working out, keeping your mind active. There's a video out there that you've seen for sympathetic nervous system balancement to go through all that stuff, because your body and your sympathetic nervous system reacted probably like this was a bear attack. Like you're so stressed out, and you have to recenter and balance that. So I have video on my other channel that shows you how to balance your sympathetic nervous system, and there's all the steps to do that. So that's going to help you center, and then you're going to feel clear-minded, and then through the mindset reprogramming you can find the solution. So journaling too, to kind of get your thoughts out, your feelings, your frustration, word vomit, get that stuff off your chest, you're out of your heart. And then when you have that conversation, you're going to be very, very well equipped. And you can tell her to do the same stuff too, because she's probably also feeling fight or flight and a lot of stress and pressure and everything.
So mind blowing for me, because and this is not a thing that happens to me, it happens to like everybody. It's unbelievable how you can feel at a certain moment, how you feel your emotions and everything, and how you feel the next day or a week later, a few days later, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like the first day, it's so much more intense. It's like the whole world is collapsing on you. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
saying now I'm at peace with this
No.
situation. Absolutely not. But it's really
It
daunting.
feels like
And
an apocalypse the first day.
exactly,
Yeah.
like a never-ending
And
day.
that's just the mind. That's the mind. It tears you into that space.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
we have to center in on the truth that the presence is our salvation. It's not an apocalypse, because it's basically deteriorating away from all this other stuff that's happening. So you did great. It's phenomenal talk. I do have to kind of end our time now as discussed, but I think you have a lot of steps to kind of move forward, and then of course
Hmm.
we'll chat again and then see how this works. But
Absolutely.
you're not alone. You're doing phenomenal, man. Be proud of yourself. Okay.
Thank you very much, and I think I found some hidden answers through you.
Awesome.
So thank you.